Welcome to Popular Pixel. Today I just kind of got in a TurboGrafx kind of mood, so I thought I'd go ahead and boot up the old Polymega here and play a few TurboGrafx games. I don't really have any kind of agenda or anything. I was just traveling home and I started thinking, hey, you know what? I feel like playing some TurboGrafx. Have you ever kind of gotten in those kind of moods before where you just kind of didn't know what you wanted to do, but you know maybe a certain system would scratch that itch that you were having? Of course, it's not necessarily going to be just for the TurboGrafx. I mean, I may even dip into PC Engine here. Of course, I don't have a whole lot of PC Engine games. There are a few games that I really do enjoy on there, obviously, like Street Fighter 2 here, for instance. Shinobi, you know, that's one that I started messing around with a little bit more, and it looks great on the TurboGrafx. It's funny because I just got the NES one running on here recently because of the ROM hack. I haven't been able to play it on here until that ROM hack came around. So I thought I'd go ahead and throw it on here, and it's actually a lot easier than the Sega Master System version, and it has an ending to it, which was very surprising to me. But let me see. I think I'm gonna actually start off with. Oh man, I've got a game. There it is. Utopia. I haven't played that one for quite some time, and that's a great little clone of Zelda. If any of you have never actually played it before, I actually found this game very addicting when I was younger. I probably liked it a little bit more than Zelda. Now the second Utopia game, not really such a huge fan of. For any of you who are interested, I'm actually using a Super Nintendo controller. This is actually one of my favorite controllers. I use it for most of my Polymega needs, mainly because it does have the turbo buttons on it, and it operates so much better than most of the games. Now, some of the games like Street Fighter 2, I really can't play that one except for unless I am using a PC Engine or the Polymega PC Engine clone controller. Hey, Sniper Man, how you doing, buddy? So I don't know how far I'm going to get into this before I guess decide to move on to something else, but it's really interesting how this game was kind of set up. They've actually got, 3 different worlds in it, and you have to collect 2 gems from each world. Going around, you know, doing dungeons, trying to solve puzzles, those sorts of things before you're able to move on to the next area. So rather than having one giant overworld, there's actually 3 overworlds in this game. And like I said, it's been a very long time since I played that. I can't remember if this... Okay, yeah, this is where I do have to go, and I think there's a vial in here. You're still sick, dude? Man, you need to quit that. Oh, okay, no, it's not the vial. It's that Book of Revival. Basically, when you die, it's what you're allowed to use to record your progress of the game, basically. Now, on the TurboGrafx originally, you weren't able to necessarily record your progress because they didn't have battery backup, unless you happen to own the, what was it called? The not TurboTap. Wow, has it been that long since I've used my TurboGrafx? I've actually got one in my closet here. It's like a higher output for your video, and then it also has a backup memory for your games. The other thing, of course, you could also use is the TurboGrafx. There's the vial. The TurboGrafx CD unit also did the same thing where you could record your games on it. But without that book, you couldn't save the game. Finally get one of the gold. All right, there we go. See, I do remember before I go into the next dungeon, I don't know if I have to do this, but since it's been a long time since I played it, I probably should anyways. I'll also have to find out how much gold it is. But I go around killing some monsters until I have enough gold to buy another potion, just to make sure that I won't run into any problems in defeating the boss of the first dungeon. You know, that was weird. I was doing some testing. Yeah, kind of like a robotic or a tinny sound. I'm not sure what's causing that. I just downloaded the new version of this app that I use for my video. And it was after that weird tinny sound started coming in. I don't know what is causing it. Hopefully it's not too much of an annoyance. How does the game sound? Does the game sound okay? I actually tried multiple microphones just to see if it was the microphone itself that I'm using right now. And actually this headset started sounding better than the microphone that I was trying through my phone here. But when it installed, it asked me if it wanted to install the microphone as well. So I said, yeah, sure. I didn't know if I needed to do it, but of course after doing that, it created this weird sound, so that's going to be fun trying to get that figured out. That was just a test. I wasn't sure which button was going to be button number 2 here. Now, the one thing that was nice with the second Utopia game is you could actually move diagonally, and you could slash diagonally as well. But that was one of the things that, honestly, that I started to find as an annoyance. Now, with Zelda, like on the Super Nintendo, if any of you have played that, your slash could actually slash diagonally. Rather than having to change directions and slash diagonally. That helped so much more than having a diagonal direction. The diagonal direction actually made it a little bit more difficult, because sometimes I would try pressing down, but I would end up going in the diagonal direction instead. It was just kind of a pain in the butt. That was probably one of the things that kind of brought me away. I've never actually beaten the second game. One of these days, I do need to go ahead and try that out again and see what happens. Game sounds fine? Alright, great, thank you. So it is just the microphone. Maybe I'll have to uninstall the microphone and reinstall it. And I did some bandwidth testing today. It seems a lot better today than it has been in the recent past, so that's also why I decided I was going to do some streaming. I haven't streamed for a while because I've been having nothing but problems with that stupid internet of mine. Ah. Really? He's gonna hit me again. Ha! Dang. You gotta be joking. You know what? I'm not gonna mess with those guys anymore. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Master System games. I can't wait till they get the Master System up and running on this thing, because I really want to play some of that. But Phantasy Star has been my current addiction, which isn't too surprising. That's a game that I play through at least once a year. I don't know what it is about that game that keeps me coming back, but I absolutely love it no matter how many times I play through it. I guess since I'm in the area here, I'm gonna head back over here real quick. I'm gonna go get healed because I'm not gonna take the chance of dying. Alright, I only need 10 more gold and then I'll be able to pick up that extra energy vial and I'll move on to the dungeon. There it is. Ah, crud. Ah! See, now those scorpions, they're able to move diagonally, just ever so slightly. But of course, our hero of the game does not know how to move diagonally. Ah, okay, that's not where I thought I was going. Yeah, it's been several years, I think, since I've really played through this game. So, I don't even remember if I have to go into some of these areas, which this one is not someplace that I needed to go. Now, a game I would like to try out again, that is similar to the Zelda games, is the, what was it called? Not Axe Battler, Golden Axe Warrior. Man, I used to own that game on the Master System. Actually, I picked it up for like $10 or $15. It was being clearanced out at a KB Toys many years ago. Unfortunately, I sold it also many years ago. And now that one has become a game that's quite pricey. I think this might be the wrong way. Oh, nope, it was the right way. And a lot of the items in this game, unlike Zelda, are more equipment upgrades rather than actual items that help you solve puzzles and such. which is actually kind of disappointing. I wish they would have had it where there were more items. I mean, there are some items that you can get in this game, of course, but not anything like to the extent that the Zelda games were. Ah! And the bats in this one are much more annoying than the bats in Zelda. Dang. Well, at least I'm starting to get some good money in this stage. Now, that's either armor or a new shield, which is definitely needed at this moment because I am taking a lot of damage. A lot of bombs, but unfortunately my max is 8. Ah. At least the boss in this stage is not hard. Alright, so if, again, for none of you, or for those of you who haven't played this before, basically just brings me back to the beginning of the game here and places the medallion in front of one of these recesses, I guess you could say. And you have to have 2, so yeah, I guess it's actually 4 areas then. Anyways, once I get the other one, it'll be placed here, which opens up a stairway that allows me to get into the next overworld. But since I am on this side, I think what I'm going to have to do first is go on over and purchase another potion to keep myself from dying so easily, like almost happened. Good. It's Mr. T. No. I also have to find the fire wand. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly where that's at in this area. Like I said, it's been a few years since I've actually gone through and played this game. And I doubt that's it. But I'm going to go in this door anyways and just see what it is. Oh, okay. That haircut looks like she's trying to be some kind of emo. Although her hair is not dark enough. Getting a lot of those wings, and I definitely don't need those right now either. Not right now. The wings are good later on if you need to get back real quick. But again, see, there's another one. That's a drop that happens way too often in this game. And another thing that Zelda has over this, I like it when you go into it, some kind of room and you can get out before the person starts talking to you. In this game, it brings you right up to the person, you start talking to them immediately. It's a pain in the butt. No. Oh, alright, so I loop back around to here. I see where I'm at. Yep. Ah, come on, you guys. Yes, but please, why don't you tell me where the fire wand is at? I honestly thought that I was going to be able to remember some of this stuff. But man, I guess I certainly haven't played this game as much as some of the other ones. Alright, so he's going to give me an increase in vitality, as you saw there. They have these monks that are kind of spread out around the different worlds that can do different things for you. Like maybe another one is going to up the amount of bombs that I can carry. But I think the dungeon actually is over this direction. No, it's not. Okay, good. But then again, I think this thing just tells me where the monk is at. Yeah, so that's pretty much useless. Stupid random movements in these scorpions. It's such a pain in the butt. Really? Oh, okay, so these rings, yeah, they will basically make certain enemies change into weaker enemies. I don't know why I just purchased one of those. You can, I believe you can find those as a drop. Ah, okay, so I need the wand before I can do anything in that room. And I don't think there's anything useful there. I remember what the area looks like. You know what? Yeah, I think it's on the east side. I think I just remembered. But this is where the dungeon is at. Yeah, so I don't want to go there yet. this it? I think it is. Yeah, here it is. So now this shoots little balls of fire. That's another thing that really kind of ticked me off about the second game in the series is the wand that you get when you have enough vitality. You know, like in the Legend of Zelda, how your sword will change its attack. In this game, the fire wand actually changes its attack. It actually becomes more powerful, and it becomes this huge flame that just kind of follows along the ground. But in the second game, the fire would actually cause damage to you when you touch it. And I was constantly hitting myself with the fire because I would end up firing in a direction that I didn't want it to fire. So it was just, it became such a chore to even play that game. But eventually I do want to, I want to see the ending to that game so I can see what happens. But I just haven't been able to bring myself to it. Now, yep, it is. Okay, I was going to say, I don't remember, but I think these brown ones have spikes that come out of them. Wait a minute. I just noticed that sprite looked different from the one that was on the menu screen. That's different. I've never noticed that before. See, remember the problem that I was having with these guys in the first dungeon? With the flame wand, they're absolutely no problem at all. I thought this is where one of the items were at. Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, come on, old man. That's annoying. I've already talked to you. You're not going to say anything different. Don't bother talking. Alright, so now, of course, I have a reason to start using my sword again, because it's a lot stronger, and of course stronger than this flame. But, of course, I do have to get closer. Ah, see. Well, you know what? It's just barely different. I think the color is the only thing that's different. I'll have to take a look again next time I see one. Oh. Don't remember if I can... Okay, I can. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Alright, so that's the crypt there. I got the sword, so yeah, I should be good to go. Ah! Come on, dude. Alright, now for the next area, there's they start to use dark rooms. Go away. They start to use these dark rooms, and I need this stuff called moon moss. So I'm gonna have to take a look. Did I just lose my cam? No, I didn't. Good. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure the moon moss is actually found in this world rather than the next. I'm about to actually move on to the next game anyways. But just to kind of go into this world so you can see what it looks like a little bit. Oh, that's right. And I have enough vitality now that I can actually hit these guys with that fire. But as you could probably have seen there, I don't know if you noticed, but I was walking into that flame and it wasn't hurting me. That's what it is in the second game. That flame that I was just showing you, that can hurt you. It's crazy. Oh, yeah, so here's another monk. I can't remember if... Yep, gives me 4 extra bombs. I'm just going to go ahead and do a state save here, so I can come back to that later. See what else I've got here for TurboGrafx, and if anything pops out to you, let me know. Oh, that's right. The second bonk game, I can't get mine to work on the Polymega. I should probably... get the ROM of that one going on here so I have it available so I can actually play it. But if you see anything that you want me to play, let me know. Maybe some Splatterhouse. World Court Tennis. Oh man, that game was... It's a pretty dumb game. But it's, I guess, your typical tennis game, but they added a quest mode to it, and it's interesting. Many years ago, I actually figured out how to hack this password system that they have in this game, so that way I can give myself whatever money as much money as I wanted, or as much the different items, or if the towns that have been at yet for one of the other items, where I can then warp to whatever town that I want to. It was kind of fun. I was actually surprised that I was able to actually figure it out, but I tried doing the same thing with the racing game that also has an RPG element to it, but I wasn't able to get that one figured out. Something that I've tried actually multiple times, thinking that I could probably go ahead and do it, but it didn't work out. Let's go ahead and do some Alien Crush here. This is one of the TurboGrafx games that I purchased for the Wii Virtual Console. I spent hours playing this game. Oh, crud. Ah. Ha! Just missed them. I can't remember what the name of the other pinball game is that they have on the TurboGrafx. I wanted to say it was Devil's Crush, but that might have actually been Genesis. Come on. There we go. And I lost right there, so that worked out, I guess. It was Devil's Crush? Okay. That's one of them that I don't own for the TurboGrafx yet. I know they had a game on the Genesis that it must have been crud. It must have been like a sequel to Devil's Crush or something. But it's been years since I've played that one as well. That was definitely back in the 90s when I played that. My brother used to work for EB Games, and they would, you know, borrow games. And that pinball game that I'm referring to anyways, that was on the Genesis, would have been one of those games. Okay, so it was also on the Mega Drive. So that's probably why I'm thinking of that. So it wasn't a sequel. Anyways, I could play this game for hours, so I'm not going to do that on this stream. Let me see here. Bomberman, now that's another game that I can sit and play that one for a while. China Warrior is a game that, well, a lot of people hate. I think it was a great game. I mean, it's not something that I would want to play a whole lot, but I mean, it was you know, it was a tech demo. They really wanted to kind of show off the arcade style graphics that they could pull off on the TurboGrafx, and these very large sprites can really show that off. It's very much like Kung Fu, if any of you played that on the NES, but I mean, it's basically just an updated version of Kung Fu. Kung Fu is extremely repetitive. Of course, that's what we had back in the day. In this game as well, very repetitive game. But it does get to the point where it almost becomes impossible. There are some codes that are built into the game that allow you to have like infinite life and that sort of thing. That's the only way I've ever actually been able to beat this game. Now it's going to go to Sundown. Ugh. Yes, there has been. I don't know if, you know, if I'm truly at liberty to be able to speak of such things. Then again, I'm not held to any kind of contract, so I guess I could. They were talking the other day that basically right now they're just waiting on customs. And I know I'm going to say the country wrong, but Miramar, we're basically where they have these things assembled. That they have thousands of consoles that are waiting to leave their customs, but there's basically a custom hell that's going on there right now because of all the political stuff with the coup and everything. I don't know how much of that has actually toned down. I haven't seen anything in the news about it lately, but I know they have a huge backup of stuff that's trying to leave there. So basically, as soon as they get that, they're going to be able to start shipping out thousands more of these units. It'd be nice to start seeing some of that stuff get out. I know they didn't send many out back, what was that, February, at the end of February, I think it was. But man, I want to see this thing succeed. I want to see them to be able to get people, or get these things in people's hands. I know my brother, he's been waiting. He was one of the early adopters. Oh crud. As was I. Yeah. It should be coming. I'm hoping and praying that they just hurry up and get that stuff moving out there. Oh, Final Lap Twin, that's the other one. That's the one that has the RPG elements to it. I don't know, let me see. Auradine, there we go. Oh, you know what? Let me also eject my memory card here, because if I switch over to TurboGrafx CDs, I'm going to want to make sure that I don't have that in, because I have some BIOSes in there that I really don't want to use at the moment. Oh, crud. I forgot you can't run into that. I was thinking it was just in the background. Wow, dude. Anthony, man, I'm with you. I don't know why they decide the way they decide things. As far as letting people know what's going on, like you said, with the transparency, it's not great. I know they probably get sick of people asking them all the time. But maybe sometimes they really don't know what's going on, and now they've kind of built up this, well, this is the way they do things, and they're wanting to continue it that way, even though maybe it's not the best way to be doing things. But yeah, I still continue to push forward in hopes that they'll be able to get this all straightened out. I mean, obviously they've spent all the money already. So it's not like they're going to want to just give up on it. Because it wouldn't be good for them either. I mean, they won't be able to get back, what they've invested. And they've invested a lot of time in their own money, not to mention, everybody else's money. And if for some reason, God forbid, something should happen, they're not going to want to take on a lawsuit. So they want this thing to get out. So I do still have high hopes. I do believe that they are still going to get this out. Of course, after I received my Polymega, or I should say after I got my modules, that's about the time that they announced that they were going to start taking pre-orders on the Sinden light gun. Well, how did I lose my weapon? Oh, you can only use it for a certain period of time. Dang it. So after I had gotten my different modules, I figure, okay, you know what, I'm going to drop another $150 on this company in hopes that, yeah, things do go well and that they will be able to pull this off and get those light guns, because, man, the light guns, that's one of the things that I am really excited. Well, of course, I was excited about a lot of things, but since now I've gotten it in hand, the thing that excites me most is the light gun. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about, how the different companies back in the day, everybody had to have a light gun. It was, kind of their little gimmick that was going on at the time. But honestly, I absolutely love light gun games. especially the more modern ones, like Virtua Cop or oh crap, what's the name of that zombie game by Sega? But anyways, even going back as far as games like Duck Hunt and that sort of thing, I think it's awesome. And to be able to play that on modern TVs, I mean, when was the last time that you played a light gun game that wasn't out at an arcade? It's just not something that you see anymore, and it's something that I remember and remember quite fondly. So I'm wanting to get my hands on that. House of the Dead, there you go, thank you, yeah. I remember House of the Dead, was it House of the Dead 3, I think it was, on that came out on the Wii. Of course, that wasn't quite a light gun. I mean, it did well for what it was, but it wasn't quite the same feeling as having a light gun in your hand. But that was an interesting game for sure. Oh yeah, yeah. They did finally release the Sinden light gun out there. For those that had pre-ordered that, I've seen quite a few demos on it. Yeah, and it does look amazing. I'm just hoping that it'll work okay. From what I understand, it does, but I'm really wanting to use it on my projector screen. I think that would be awesome, being able to play two-player Virtua Cop with someone and standing in front of a huge screen. Big Mech, I hear you, man. As far as I can't even remember how much it was that I spent on the Polymega originally, but as soon as it hit that very first day I was on there trying to get my pre-order in, and I went all out. I mean, I got the extra controllers, I got the modules, everything. And while on the subject, I'm not a huge fan of the controllers. I've seen many problems. I don't know. Maybe it's because I am still just in love with these original controllers, even though this is not an original Nintendo, the ASCII pad for the Super Nintendo. But I absolutely love this controller, and I've tried using the Polymega one. The start and select buttons, that they are in the wrong position. I just do not like that. It's I don't know. They have their Polymega button more accessible, which honestly it does make sense because you want to be able to have access to that button real quick. But with the command where you press up and start and it goes into the menu like that, honestly that's really all you need. It is nice to have that extra button, but it's not needed. I still strongly suggest going with your regular controllers for each of the consoles. Let me see. What should I play here? Let me see what I've got going on in Turbo CD. Oop. Okay, just because I gotta do this. All right, after Fighting Street, yeah, I'll switch over. Parasol Stars, that was an awesome game. But yeah, with the NES controller, like with the B and the A button, yeah, I thought that they did a good job with that. But I still find myself, and I keep all my modules. Oop, it's actually hooked up to my module right now. I just pulled that off. Where I still keep going back to the original controllers. I don't know. I like it quite a bit better. Japan. Yeah, dude. Fighting Street. This game sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I did like it in the arcade, for a while there, but it is such a hard game, especially with pulling off those special moves. Ah, really? Nope. Yeah, the Genesis controllers, I still haven't taken the time to fix my Genesis controllers yet. I, it was just so much easier for me to pull out my Genesis controllers out of the closet and use those. But the funny thing is, I don't have very many good Genesis controllers. I have, you know, a lot of 3-button controllers, but the 6-button controllers that I have, I just don't have very many of them. So I really need to get that pulled out and hack it so that it works properly. I have had some trouble with the Super Nintendo controllers, not quite in the same way. I'll play around with it, and you know, maybe I'll report back on that. One of my Super Nintendo controllers I haven't even opened up yet. I actually have left all of the extra controllers in their packaging, aside from the ones that came with the modules themselves. But I've been having some issues. I was trying to play some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think it was, with my brother when he was here this past weekend. And it was doing some funky things. Now, I don't know if that's the module that was having the problems or if it was my controller. So, you know, I guess I'm going to have to just plug in some controllers and play around with it and see what it is. I'm hoping it's not the module. I'm hoping it's just kind of some weird thing with the controller that I have. But I'll do that at some point, just find out what's going on. I have so much fun playing the Polymega that, you know, I really don't mess around a whole lot on that stuff. But come on, fireball. The soundtrack, though, in this game, I love. Back when I originally purchased actually, it was before I purchased before I had actually gotten a chance to purchase my Turbo CD. This was back in the 90s. Street Fighter 2 was out, and I was insane for Street Fighter 2. I went into EB Games and I had them order me a copy of this game. Even though we had a TurboGrafx, we didn't have a Turbo CD. Man, those things were just ungodly expensive. But I bought the game, and I would sit there like at night and just listen to this soundtrack and, you know, fall asleep listening to it. It's a great soundtrack. They did a superior job. You know, obviously the arcade game, you know, it didn't have the ability to have CD quality audio like this. But it would have been nice for them to fix the voices. I mean, they had the ability there. They could have fixed the sound effects. I guess they wanted to try to get it as arcade accurate as possible, but some of the voices in this are horrid. Oh, you know, as far as I don't know if you're talking about the problem with the Genesis controllers. I haven't heard anything from them concerning that, or if they've even addressed it at all. I hope they would have fixed those, but they probably already had the controllers being produced. So I seriously doubt that they're going to have that fixed. And the problems that I've been having with the Super Nintendo controllers, that might be something that I just have been running into. Like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of investigating to even find out. Dang it. Alright, well that's that. I died. To find out whether or not it's exactly what it is that's causing my problems that I was having. It was some kind of input issue. What game was it? Parasol Stars. And for those of you who don't know, this is like a prequel, I guess, of Bubble Bobble. I don't know. The story of Bubble Bobble 3, so whatever exactly that means. But it is in the lines of Bubble Bobble. And this is another one that I just has like this classic soundtrack. Ah! Why did he double jump? I did not know that. If I hold down the jump... Well, okay, now he's not doing it. I don't know. Anyways, he did a double jump. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I was actually just talking about that just a little bit ago. No, they're still kind of stuck in customs hell over there right now. They do have a shipment basically ready to go out. It's sitting along with everything else that's stuck in customs and their huge flood of ships that can't get out of the area until after it gets through customs. Oh, you jerk. You know, I just completely forgot one of the things that you can do in this game, besides the bubble bobble style stuff. You collect these power items that are falling, well, not water droplets, it looks like here. You catch those with your parasol, and let me get one of these guys. And then I'll collect them real quick here. You collect up, I think, is it 5 of them? I'm not positive. And then you can kind of do a special attack. Now that's what you're supposed to do. Get clears where you can clear the entire screen. I love it. Dude, yes it does. Sonic and Knuckles. Even though I'm doing a TurboGrafx little stream here, I might end up having to pop that in. At least I'll go over there and show it to you. But with Knuckles and Sonic, I mean, you can actually rip the games. All 3 of the games along with Knuckles. So even the first game, which was just basically the bonus stages, and that's all you could do with it, they do have it set up so that you can rip all 3 games, or, you know, Sonic and Knuckles as an individual game. One of the things that I did recently was I found a really cool hack that combines Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 together as one game, back like how it was intended to have been originally. So I've been playing through that, which is really kind of cool. So it combines both games into one giant game. It's wonderful. Okay, so these ones look kind of like water droplets, but you see it has lightning built inside of it. So that way it can just shoot across the screen. Crud. I don't remember all the power-ups that they have in this game, but that's 2 of them there. Yeah, you know, and I do want to do more streaming. I run into a few problems. My internet doesn't always agree with me, so I'm not able to do it as often as I would like to. On a Sunday afternoon, I was expecting the internet actually to be completely taken up, but it was interesting that it was not having any problems today. But yeah, I will do as much as I can with Polymega streams, and not just streams, but videos in general. I've been working on this Street Fighter 2 video for the longest time. I've just got stuck in this funk where it's like, you know, I want to finish the video, but yet at the point in the video that I am, I don't know exactly where to go next with it, kind of thing. I mean, I know where to go, but as far as the extra video... Oh, crud. Oh, well. The extra video that I still need to put into it, I don't want it to be stale. I want it to have a little bit of flavor to it, and unfortunately, I ran into this bit of a funk where I just can't finish it out. It's crazy. But anyways, I've got another video that is coming up that I'm planning on doing. kind of something that has started this past month with my game pickups. And what I do with that is I show the games, but I also show footage of it being captured through the Polymega. And that was a lot easier for me to put together than this Street Fighter one, that's for sure. But I do have, what do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got 8 games that I've gotten over the past couple of weeks that I've added to my collection. Super Nintendo, NES, and 1 Genesis game. No, wait a minute. 2 Genesis games. So, I knew I was going to get hit by that. But anyways, yeah, that's just some of the things that I'm kind of doing. In the meantime, I'm actually doing something kind of interesting. I'm creating a strategy guide, and it's mostly just out of my nerddom for Fantasy Star. I'm making a retro-style strategy guide, now a physical, actual book strategy guide, for the first Fantasy Star, and I'm trying to do it in the style of what might have been released in 1986 or 1987, depending. So I've been working on that. I've been working on a lot of artwork for that, and just trying to get the whole thing put together. I mean, I have basically all the data, everything written. It's just a matter of getting everything laid out, and it's taken a lot of time too. But it's been fun anyways. I don't know if it's something that I'll ever release. I might do, a few myself, but it's going to be a perfect bound book. And like I said, it's basically just out of my nerddom for the game itself. There really is. As far as the retro gamings go, my local game stores, they've been really kind of stagnant as well. Oh, landed right on that thing. Get out of there. Ah, dang it. They've been really stagnant as of lately. They don't get many people selling games to them right now. Some of the older stuff, I've been, again, watching out for the Super Nintendo and NES stuff mostly, because those are the ones that I have the fewest games right now. And I go in sometimes a week, once every week, once every 2 weeks, and kind of see what they have. I've got like 4 different stores around here that I go to, and oh, I've never seen that before. That was interesting. They give you a hurry alert up on the screen. That's cool. But nobody wants to sell their games, and I don't blame them. I really wouldn't want to sell my games right now either. I mean, COVID has kind of given people a reason to stay in and play some video games. Even though I'm really done with this whole COVID thing. I'm tired of it. Our area has been going back more than going back to normal. As a matter of fact, we don't even have a mask mandate here. Some stores are still requiring that you wear a mask when you come in, but even some of the big box stores, even Walmart, at least one that I know of in the area, are not requiring you to wear masks. So it's interesting. So are there any system or games that can't be hacked on the Polymega? No, I mean, if it's been programmed to work in the system, so obviously Sega Master System, I have tried getting the Master System games working just to see if maybe they had an emulator in there, and they may have it in there. It may just have to be accessed in a different way. I don't know. I know they are working on getting Master System going, but I've had no problem with getting my Genesis ROMs playing. I don't do this a whole lot because I don't care so much for ROMs, but I guess while we're on the topic, it won't hurt. Let me just pop over to Genesis real quick here. Alright, so Sonic the Hedgehog, as you see, I've got Sonic Spinball, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and then Sonic and Knuckles over here. If I go into Sonic and Knuckles, I have all 3 of the lock-on cartridges. So there's regular Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic the Hedgehog, which I'll just pop into that real quick here for you. It'll just pull up the complaining thing, but when you hit the buttons there, it lets you select and go into the bonus stages. So yeah, just to answer the question from earlier, the Sonic and Knuckles, it works great on this console. I love it. The other thing, if I go into, I want to say, which one was it? Is it Sonic and Knuckles? No, 3. Okay, so this is the one I've been playing through, where it's a combined, where it brings both Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 into one game. I have that hack on there. It's been so fun playing that. But with going back to your question on games, some of the games I have had trouble emulating, but then when I launch them from, say, a different game, then it doesn't seem to have any problems at all. So if I go to Batman Returns here, oh well, for instance, I gotta hold on. My memory card, I had pulled my memory card out so that it wouldn't launch certain things. So all right, so if I go to a save state that I have from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I was playing, it has no problem running. NES. Now, NES is a little bit more picky, because you do have to have a game with a same mapper, I believe it was. Oh gosh, it's been a long time since I've done this now. Oh, Anticipation, that's one of them that I... Okay, so right now, Anticipation, I've got... what game is in there? Oh, Snake, Rattle, and Roll. Okay. So Anticipation and Snake, Rattle, and Roll use the same mappers. So it had no problem launching it. But if I try, let's say, launching Baseball, I'm going to select a patch, which go this way. All right, so let's do Super Sprint. It goes right into Baseball because it's a different mapper. It can't do it. Remove that off there. So you do have to, with the NES and Super NES game. No, actually, Super NES game isn't quite as picky. There are certain games that it will be picky with. I'm trying to remember which ones they were. I don't remember. I think it was ActRaiser. Let me remove ActRaiser real quick here. Okay, so the Stunt Race FX games, we'll start there. Those, they do have to be launched with a ROM that had an FX chip in it. I did try launching Star Fox 2 on Star Fox 1, and that would not work. But when I tried launching it, as you can see here on Stunt Race FX, Star Fox 2 worked just fine. Oh wait, did I try with Stunt Race FX? You know what? I don't think. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Dirt Tracks. Stunt Race FX, yeah, and it works just fine. So there are some weird things with that you have to play around with to get it figured out. Also, if you're trying to play a PAL game, you can't launch a PAL game from the Super NES because it'll recognize it as being on the wrong console. But just make sure that you're launching them properly from the right regions. The same thing goes for Mega Drive. I don't think I have it on here anymore, but this is how I actually discovered some of this stuff. But I was messing around with Phantasy Star, and I tried creating a patch that would allow me to have English language in my Japanese version of Phantasy Star, and basically the console started getting upset at me, telling me that I can't run it since it has to be in the correct region. So anyways, let me back off of that. All the CD games, obviously you don't have to do any kind of patch hacking for those, because just burn it to a CDRW and then you can put it on there, you can play it just fine. All of the 32X games, none of them, I should say, I've had any problem with. It doesn't matter what game I launch it from, they all seem to run just fine. Saturn, Neo Geo CD. Okay, TurboGrafx. Yeah, in TurboGrafx, that one, again, when I created the patch, I created them for Darkwing Duck, and all of those run just fine. The TurboGrafx really is not picky like the NES games either. Super Graphics, again, that's another one that you can launch. I only own one Super Graphics game anyways, but with that, I'm able to now launch any of the Super Graphics games that I want to play. What, the whole 5 of them that exist, something like that. Let me just take a quick peek at the what you guys are saying here. Sorry. Oh, let me actually just get up for a second. Yeah, so Anthony, speaking about the Evercade, of course. Yeah, I mean the Evercade, it's an interesting little console. I do have some little problems with it. Next month when I get the 2 new games, these are the ones that just came in recently here. The Pico Collection 2 and then the Jellicoe Collection 1. This one's really good. I mean, this one has some classics on it like Astyanax, Bases Loaded, City Connection, Rival Turf. I don't know if any of you played that on the Super Nintendo, but I used to love that game. Oh gosh, what is Brawl Brothers, the other one that's like Rival Turf. But the only problem with this is they seem to load it up just with too much shovelware. I mean, it's old shovelware, but a lot of the you're lucky if you can find maybe 1 or 2 games on each cartridge that you might enjoy. That's my problem with it. And even some cartridges, there's games on them that I don't like any of the games on the cartridge. The next one that's going to be coming out that has the homebrew stuff, I'm really excited about that one because I like weird games. Maybe not necessarily great games. I don't know. I guess I'll see when I get that. But the Evercade, it is pretty cool, and I am interested to see what they're going to be doing with this. What are they calling it? The Evercade Versus or VS. I mean, it's it's probably just going to be a console that you plug into your TV rather than having to connect up through the mini HDMI or micro HDMI. I don't know what they call that. But yeah, that'll be interesting. GameCube games coming down on price, really? Oh man. I got rid of most of my GameCube stuff long ago. I probably shouldn't have, but it's what allowed me to start getting into TurboGrafx pretty hardcore because they had at this local game store that I sold my stuff to. They had an inbox TurboGrafx with the case with the 3.0 US card for like $500. I really couldn't pass it up. I mean, just the 3.0 card alone right now is worth around $500. It's like $300 to $500 just for that card. And I've even been thinking about selling that card considering I have a modded TurboGrafx anyways, so I can play Japanese games, and I have Japanese BIOS chips. But man, that price tag is really sounding pretty good right now. Oh, here we go. Why don't I'll probably get my butt kicked because I haven't played this one for a long time either. But no, crap, that's not going to work. I've got the 1.0 card in there at the moment. I got to get rid of that. It's going to give me an error, I'm sure. Nope, it just won't even launch. This one needs the arcade card. Yeah, so Sapphire, one of the most beautiful games on the TurboGrafx, if you ask me. Maybe I have to sideload the other card. Oh, how do I do that? I don't even remember. Is it under Manage? No. Huh. I don't remember how to change cards. Well, that kind of sucks. Alright, well, I'm not going to worry about that, I guess, for right now. Double Dragon. Ugh. Oh my goodness. That is a horrible game on the TurboGrafx. You know, it's really hard to say, Pee-wee. The Polymega was designed in such a way, and I was able to confirm this through a breakdown that someone did the other day. I was curious if they were actually going to follow through on this, but they created the Polymega in a way where later on down the road they'll be able to upgrade the CPU, and the hardware inside does in fact support an upgradable CPU. I mean, you can physically take it out of your console very easily, I might add. So down the road, they might really be able to do some pretty amazing things with this. You know, obviously it's gonna take a lot of work on their part, but I'm excited to see what they might be able to do. I know they do have another module in store. They haven't said much about it yet. I know they were going to make a big announcement on it, and that ended up falling through because I guess they don't want to put too much information out there, because then that was right, I believe, when they were about to release the information, they ran into this issue that's going on right now with everything in again, I hate saying the name because I know I say it wrong, but Miramar, where they have them assembled. They wanted to try to get through some of that before releasing more information about some of the new consoles and things that they're going to start supporting. They want to get these in the hands of people before doing some of that, and I completely understand that. Let me see here. I do hope that an N64 module is something that they will end up supporting, you know, fairly soon. That's another one of the consoles that I've enjoyed collecting games for over the years. Well, what was I doing here? Super Air Zonk, man, that's not a very good game. The first Air Zonk was so much better, but they had a chance to make that game great, but they scaled back on the graphics and, you know, added great music, but I have such a hard time going back and playing that game. You know what? Let me put some Riot Zone. This was an interesting game. I found this at a local game store. Of course, this was many years ago, fairly soon after I got the CD unit. But I didn't realize that this was, I believe, a Sega game, if I'm not mistaken, but an arcade game. Oh, West Stone. So yeah, it must have been a Sega game in the arcades. Now, it was a two-player game in the arcade. It's not on the TurboGrafx, but it's interesting to see something like this running on the TurboGrafx, mainly because it's really not a genre that they used at all, I don't think. Were there any beat-em-ups? Let's see, we had Double Dragon 2 and this one. I think these were the only two beat-em-ups on the console. I mean, it's not a great game, but it's the beat-em-up that they had for the console, basically. I do want to see if I can find the arcade version of this, just so I can try it out. I probably have it on my computer and just don't even realize it. It may even go by a different name, I'm not sure. No, exactly, Pee-wee. I mean, it's so hard for them to say anything, because as soon as they do, and if something happens, they have fallen upon so many unfortunate events. It's not even funny. I mean, yeah, some of the problems that they have been their own problems that they brought upon themselves, but honestly, a lot of the things that they've run into, they have not had any control over. And when they do announce a release date or something, then they end up running into these problems that they don't have any control over. And when they do happen to mention it, of course, something happens. You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, happens in life. Multi-carts, no, because in order to actually get a multi-cart to be recognized on the Polymega, now, are you talking about like an Evercade kind of thing, or what kind of multi-cart? Like the official ones or unofficial? Because I have messed around with a lot of the unlicensed kind of games. As far as getting the physical cartridges working, I don't think that'll ever happen, to be honest, unless they actually hack the system itself down the road. For you know, those knockoff cartridges, there's really no point in that. But I have been successful in getting quite a few unlicensed ROMs working on the console, which makes me happy because, again, you know, my Tengen games, I want to be able to play those on the Polymega. Even though Playmagi's not ready to support the unlicensed stuff, I would like to be able to play it. And for the games that are like the Tengen games, you should be able to play those games without a problem. And as I've seen with my own eyes, it is possible. But they have to add the support to those cartridges in order to actual hardware that they were created to work on. So you would need to have a oh gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Those system on a chips, the ones that are emulating the systems on a hardware level rather than the software level, whatever those things are called. My brain is not pulling it up for some reason. It was what the Polymega said they were originally going to be before they decided to go straight emulation. So yeah, back then they should have been able to get EverDrive carts working. Yeah, take care, Anthony. Yeah, Giant Luca. I was actually talking about that a little bit ago. I can kind of, I guess, fill you in on that a little bit here. Yeah, they literally have thousands of these consoles that are actually ready to go. The problem is they are stuck in customs across seas with everything that's going on over there. Basically just waiting for them to start clearing away a lot of the backlog that they have after that military coup, trying to get some of that stuff out. I don't even know if things have even settled down in Miramar yet, but if they have, you know, things will start moving a lot quicker, that's for sure. And Pee-wee, that could be. I mean, they might take that kind of approach, kind of like Nintendo and Sony with those who do hack them. I don't think Playmaji is honestly too worried about stuff like that happening. I mean, they're a hardware manufacturer. They're not a software. Although, you know, they have been wanting to launch that store, which will allow people to purchase games. And if they don't somehow block the hackers, you know, that's going to take away from some of their revenue concerning some of that stuff. So maybe they will want to do that. I don't know. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Now, in this game, there's a lot of repetitiveness. I mean, as you can see, I have 3 of the same guy on the screen, except they're just different colors. That happens a lot in this game. Making actual physical games, I really can't see them doing that. I mean, it would be kind of nice to see that. You know, they would have to probably team up with you know, another company that has been doing that sort of thing. You know, like Pico or I don't know, some of these other companies. I can't think of their names offhand, that have made like Genesis cartridges, you know, for instance. But instead of putting stickers on them that say Genesis, maybe they can put it, you know, saying that it's Polymega. It would be kind of cute. I mean, obviously, those cartridges would also have to be able to work on an actual Genesis, probably, but I think it would be kind of neat. I know, you know, again, as we were talking about a little bit ago with the Evercade, that's really kind of the thing that I like about these, is that it feels like, you know, back in the olden days when you would get a game inside of a box, you get the instruction manual with it, and actually with the most 2 recent releases, the Pico collection came with these kind of cruddy stickers, to be honest, but it came with some stickers, and oh, this one, the Jellico, it came with a poster, which kind of made me go back both to the NES days and Sega Master System, when they would include these cheesy little posters so you could see like upcoming games and that sort of thing. But it just kind of adds to the feeling that we used to get back in the day when we would purchase games, and to get those little extras in there. I still have like Master System posters kind of laying around. I want to get framed. But as far as making their own stuff, I don't think they probably would. As far as the Evercade Versus, dude, I have been lacking a lot when it comes to the Evercade. Just I'm just tired of the shovelware on it. But it's kind of addicting. I mean, I enjoy the Evercade in general just because of it coming out on cartridges. Again, just everything that we just talked about. As far as the Versus goes, I do believe that probably will end up being a physical console that you hook up to your TV. Will I buy that? Yeah, I probably will. I mean, it's going to be an inexpensive system, I'm sure, and it gives me an opportunity for, you know, for streaming and that sort of thing. Right now, streaming using the Evercade does not work so well. I do not like the way they have it set up. I'm constantly unplugging the game or bumping the cord and it having issues. So yeah, it would be nice to have a physical system. Oh no, stuff like Batman or anything that, you know, you're gonna have to get special rights for, that's gonna be very difficult, and it's probably not something they're gonna even want to try, because it's gonna cost quite a bit of money for them to even approve something like that. Mario, yeah, Nintendo, they'll never allow that. I mean, they've got their own console. They want people to buy their console and not go elsewhere to play those games. But of course, they don't have much control over it when it comes to people owning physical cartridges. So now that's kind of got into the open territory where they can emulate physical I don't know the words I'm looking for. Basically, you know, like clone systems where, like with the NES, there's nothing Nintendo can do about that stuff now. So yeah, seeing Batman or Mario in a digital store like that, it's not going to happen. But now people like Jellico, for instance, I mean, they've got a bunch of games that they can do. I've even seen at a local game store a Jellico cartridge that was re-released that had, I want to say, 4 Jellico Super Nintendo games on it for the actual Super Nintendo. I almost purchased it, but I'm like, nah, that's not gonna run on my Polymega, so I'm not gonna bother with it. I wonder if it would. Okay, now I'm curious. I don't know if I'm $40 curious to see if it'll work, considering all of my old consoles now are boxed up and just kind of in the closet. Excuse me, in the closet. The animation of him walking is so funny. I'm sure it is missing frames from the arcade, but again, since I've never actually seen the arcade version of this game, I really couldn't speak on that too much. He does have a striking resemblance, though, to the character from, well, he looks a little bit like Cody, but also, was it Cody? Yeah, Cody. The character from Streets of Rage as well. Okay, that guy's name was Jim Bob. He does not look like a Jim Bob. Maybe they didn't want to use any stereotypical Chinese names or whatnot. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. I mean, well, I don't know. With SNK, they are starting to talk again about this console that they've been working on. Not these controller things that they've been doing, but an actual SNK console, I guess, that they're wanting to launch. Whether it's going to be new or it's just going to be something old that is going to play old games. I don't know if SNK would get on board or not and do some of that. But it would be nice if they could, so they could possibly get some of the games that, I mean, those Neo Geo CD games, they're not cheap. So having something like that on the store would be pretty awesome. I mean, if you can get them, I don't know what, $5 to $8. $8 is probably more realistic, to be honest. Or even able to get some of the games that maybe were released at the arcade. I bet that would emulate just fine on here as well. I don't know how much work they would have to do, how close the CD emulation is to the MVS or the AES. But it would be nice to see some of the SNK stuff. Obviously, SNK NES games, yeah, all day long they should be able to do that kind of thing. But yeah, all these things that are coming out on the Evercade, not a problem at all. I mean, that kind of stuff, a lot of companies are willing to work with. If they can get some pennies in their pockets, they're going to be willing. Dang, I keep doing that. They're going to be willing to allow it. Oh man, my throat's getting dry. Alright, now this guy, his name is Clyde. Yeah, they could have used a little bit of work on the names on these characters, I think. Yeah, dude. I as I talked about in a video not too long ago, I really don't like digital stuff. I don't like digital games. As soon as a server or as soon as a company wants to shut a game down, they have the right to do that, and you don't have the right to owning that game anymore. So if you want it again, guess what? You get to buy it again. I'd much rather have a physical game cartridge that I can go back to, so that it can't be pulled out of my hands. Same thing goes for movies. Anytime I buy a new movie, I don't buy it off of Amazon or something like that. I want the physical movie. So that way, I can go ahead and rip it myself, put it on my Plex server, and then I have a working digital copy of it, which isn't a problem for me. but it allows me to always go back to it if I have a hard drive failure or whatever the case may be. Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, there are going to be new consoles coming out on the Polymega. Now, I know I don't remember when it was, but they did say that they are going to be supporting the Sega Master System. Obviously, they'll be able to do that through the Genesis just by either selling a converter or picking up a converter. Like I've got two different converters. I've got the official one from Sega from back in the day, the Master, what was it called, Power Base converter, and then I also have one from Stone Age Gamer that allows, and they even have an FM synth or an FM mod on one of them that allows you to play the Master System games on your Genesis. So what they'll end up doing is basically just adding the Z80 emulation into the Genesis emulator that they're using, and then you'll be able to play Master System games. So that's going to be great. I do know that they also have been working on a new module. They haven't released any information on it yet. I've been kind of wondering exactly what that might be. I'm hoping for an N64 module. Probably out of all of them that I could get right now, that's the one that I would want. But I mean, I would even go for, you know, PCFX emulation or some of the other CD systems that could be added with a lot less effort than, you know, having to do a whole module. But the thing is, by adding CD support for a system, it's not going to really get them additional money. It'll get them maybe people to buy the console, but they won't be able to sell the hardware. And they are a hardware company, and that's what they're about. Well, you know, the funny thing is, with the Polymega, at least right now, I don't know what they were planning, but with the purchases on the Polymega, it would be basically just like taking the ROM from their server, dumping it onto your hard drive. So it would be there. Now, so I mean, essentially, you would have ownership of it. If they ever took it off there, yeah, I guess you would have to somehow have that backed up. So maybe that's what it is that they're talking about, that they were working on. They would have to have some way of transferring that over to, say, a thumb drive or an SD card or something, and it still be able to operate on your Polymega. But that's already the way the Polymega works. I can take my my SSD out of my system and plug it into, say, you know, my brother's Polymega, and it wouldn't work. But if I took it out of mine and plugged it into my Polymega, it works just fine. But you know, what happens down the road if the Polymega starts to fail and you want all those games still running on the Polymega that you've repurchased? There's got to be some way of transferring it, or I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a long ways off anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But hopefully they do find a way where they can make it so that way when you purchase that ROM from them, that it will be able to be transferred, because they do have their games. It's not like a ROM, you know. Like when I rip one of my games, if I rip it to a SD card right now, I can take it, I can throw it on my computer, and it won't be a problem. But I won't be able to use it as a ROM on my computer, because it is, I don't know how they do it, but it's only recognized by the Polymega, of course. Now, I guess that depends on what you're talking about with upgrades. Are you talking about when they do start doing the CPU upgrades and that kind of thing? I mean, it's hard to say. I think as of right now, stock, I would think that Dreamcast wouldn't be a problem. I mean, obviously they can do Saturn, so Dreamcast really won't be a problem. PS2 should be able to run on here without any kind of upgrade, I would think. I mean, obviously I don't know. It's just trying to think of what kind of PCs that I've had in the past and how the emulation was on those. Seeing emulation running on my old laptop that I used to have. I used to be able to emulate Saturn on there fairly well. I mean, obviously I would have some glitches and that sort of thing. Polymega has been the most amazing thing when it comes to what I've seen concerning Saturn emulation. But yeah, PS2 is probably the highest as of right now. I don't think it'll ever get into the PS3 range, even with any kind of upgrade. But an upgrade probably would make PS2 emulation work better. But honestly, the type of gamer that I am, you know, I started losing interest in current gen consoles right about the time that the PS3 came out. I bought a PS3. I had fun with it. I mean, there's quite a few games on there that I loved playing, but I didn't get into gaming quite as much during that era of games. Now, when it came to the Nintendo consoles, I still like I mean, Switch, I absolutely love it. PS4, it's just been, you know, okay. You get into, you know, the Xbox One, or even the current stuff, the Series X or the PS5. I really just am not interested in that stuff anymore. So as far as emulation goes, I'm at about PS2. I've got a bunch of PS2 games, and I'd love to be able to play some of those music games again. I cannot play those music games on our current TVs because of the way the refresh works and everything. If you've ever played like Rock Band or whatever, where you have to you know, change the settings on the game so that it syncs with your TV properly in order to play them. What was it called? PS2 Amplitude and Frequency. Oh man, I love those games. I bought them a couple of years ago again, and I can play them on the TV that I'm actually using my Polymega on right now. But it's very difficult because the timing is just not there, and the games were not created to run on anything but CRTs. So it wasn't something they were expecting. But being able to play it on the Polymega through emulation, obviously those games would be able to work a lot better. So I am hoping for PS2. Huh. That rat running across the ground just now, I wish I could have picked that up and eat it. Obviously you can't, but I think that would be kind of funny and a little bit disgusting. Maybe if I was Ozzy Osbourne, they would let me. These guys just look goofy. So, what about with you guys? Is there something that, you know, and I'm just trying to get some ideas, you know, for some future videos and that sort of thing, but as far as the Polymega goes, I know, again, there's a lot of people out there that are really interested in the Polymega. Some people even getting burned out just on Polymega because of tired of hearing bad news when they've paid for it. But what are some of the kind of things that you would like to see happening as far as video-wise goes, maybe on the Polymega, or you know, as far as streams go, or just regular videos even? Some of the stuff that I've been wanting to do is kind of comparison videos. that's one of the reasons I wanted to get the Polymega, is being able to do some comparisons. That's the Street Fighter one that I was mentioning a little bit ago, that I'm working on, comparing all the 16-bit era Street Fighter 2s. And I say 16-bit era again. I guess a lot of people still, with the TurboGrafx, you know, saying, well, it's got an 8-bit CPU, so it's an 8-bit console. But it's got a 16-bit GPU. So the coloring's got a 16-bit color palette and whatnot. But anyways, that aside, what are some of the things that you would want to kind of see? Polymega received firmware updates. Yeah, actually, I've received quite a few firmware updates on my Polymega already. They actually just announced to those of us who are still in the beta program that they have been working on the next release, which is nice because they've actually fixed some of the problems that, for instance, oh gosh, what is it? Fantasy Star 4, the US version. Well, actually, I've seen it both US and Japanese version. There was a problem where some of the copies were not. Oh, that was cool. Some of the copies were not playing properly on the Polymega. It would just be all glitchy. Now, I've got a copy of the Japanese version and the English version. English version, I can't run it. It's just too glitchy. The Japanese version, not a problem. Except, I don't speak Japanese, so I really can't play it. But I installed it because I was hoping that I would be able to throw a patch on there and play it in English. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My throat is super dry here. But the nice thing that they did was they were able to fix that, so now there aren't going to be any problems with that game. And that's what they've been kind of working on with the beta team, is trying to find these games that are still problems and trying to fix those so that way it won't be a problem for you guys when it does come out. I can't remember all the different games. One of them, Knuckles, Chaotic for the 32X. That's one of them. I believe they said that they also fixed. I just recently tried installing that one onto my Polymega, and it would not recognize the game as being a game. But on the next update, it will. So you know that's pretty good. Was it a quad core on the PS2? That had to have been an awfully old quad core. You know, I'd have to look into that. I'm interested actually now. You know, because the funny thing is, I've seen PS2 emulation on lower systems working just fine. Now, not everything, obviously. Let me see. So a MIPS 3 R5900 based emotion engine, CPU core, 64-bit. Oh, okay. Did I read that wrong? Maybe I read that wrong. I thought I saw somewhere where someone said it was a quad core. PS2 emulation CPU is dual core PS2 emulation. Oh, that's where the quad recommended. Okay, no. So yeah, as of right now, I mean, hey, it's a possibility. I'm sorry. I read that as you saying that the PS2 had a quad core. I was thinking, I don't think they even had quad cores back then. I do remember when the PS2 came out. I don't know if the rumors were true or not, but in places like China, it was banned because it was considered a supercomputer. I mean, you know, obviously, even if it was a rumor, a lot of those kind of things, when it's based on a little bit of reality, it makes it a lot more believable. But now I'm interested. I want to check into that. I was actually just talking with a friend the other day about the PS2 because he was talking about how they've actually figured out how to get a monkey to play video games with nothing but its brain power. Like they actually surgically installed a chip inside of this this chimpanzee or whatever it was, and he was able to play Pong with just his brain. And that got me thinking about the PS2, because back in the day when the PS2 was first coming out, there was kind of this commercial it was kind of a joke commercial. It was an advertisement for the PS2, but it was had something to, I want to say they were advertising the PS9, where basically saying that you play it with your brain. I don't remember exactly how that commercial worked out. I just remember a few bits and pieces, you know, kind of sticking out in my memories from several decades ago. I'm sure the commercial has to be out on the internet somewhere, though. Pretty much everything is, as far as commercial goes. I know the N64 emulation has, you know, been kind of hit or miss as well. I have never been really successful with emulating the N64. I'm sure the Polymega could handle it, but I know part of my problem was I did not like playing N64 games without an N64 controller. Yeah, a lot of people complain about that controller, think it's ugly, think it's uncomfortable, whatever. But I think it's the only way to play N64 games. So if they do, you know, I hope they even do their version of the N64 controller. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to see them change the form factor, the trident look to it, or not. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely with the CD systems. I mean, they could easily add some of that stuff in there. What kind of CD consoles would you like to see added to the Polymega? You know, me personally, I mean, no, I was gonna say Jaguar CD, but really, I kind of lost interest in Jaguar a few years ago. But the 3DO, I would. CDI, I was a huge fan of the CDI back in the 90s. Again, another console that I ended up getting rid of. Dang, dude. Another console that I ended up getting rid of many years ago, but I loved the CDI. Saru's gonna get the 100% Rugrats. I guess maybe there was something going on one of the streams that I missed on that. Oh hey, it's Saru. I didn't even see you pop in there. Yeah, 3DO would be great. I mean, I'd love to be able to play some of those old 3DO games. Even being able to play like Super Street Fighter or Samurai Showdown. Even though, I mean, they were great at the time. They obviously were inferior to the arcade, but I'd like to see those again. CDI had some games that I would love to be able to see. Burn Cycle was actually one of my favorite games on that console. I don't know why. That's another one that a lot of people just absolutely hated. But Amiga, yeah, CD32, was that what it was called? Yeah, I think so. I've never actually played that console. Paige, yes and no. I have quite a few reproduction cartridges, and it's been hit or miss. I'm not sure what it is that allows some to work and some don't. I guess it really is probably going to come down to the hardware that's used inside of these reproduction cartridges. I'm really sad because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 reproduction cartridges that are actually sitting in front of me right now that I would love to be able to play on the Polymega. I mean, I can still play them, you know, obviously through the ROM trick as far as swapping the ROMs out and playing them that way with the IPS patches. But using those actual cartridges would be awesome. Here, let me get out of this. Let me just switch over to my Mega Drive. This one right here, Panorama Cotton. That one I purchased for like $6 off of eBay. It's an extremely expensive game these days, but of course mine was a reproduction cartridge. So it's one of those cartridges that work just fine. I've got some Super Nintendo cartridges that were reproductions that work just fine as well. So just so you can kind of see it here. Did I load a state? No, I didn't. Oh, there we go. Now I recognize it. I have some Super Nintendo reproductions that don't work. I have some that do. None of my TurboGrafx reproductions work, which makes me rather sad, to be honest. Because I was hoping to get a lot of those working, but unfortunately none of them do. The FM Towns Marty? I've never played that either. There's actually quite a few of some of those obscure consoles. How about the Apple Pippin? Or what was it called? The Pin Pin? Yeah, not a problem. I actually, before I got my cartridges, my modules, I actually bought a few reproduction cartridges just for that. Here, let me grab some of them here. Okay, so Earthbound for the NES. Obviously, that one never came out on the NES, but I was wanting to have it. Goonies, the first Goonies, not the second Goonies. Another one that I wanted to be able to play, which I can't play on here, you know, through the Famicom now that that's become a thing. But that cartridge doesn't work. Final Fantasy VII, now, of course, that's not in their database, but I was hoping that it would still be able to play. It doesn't even recognize it as a game. Another one that I did that with, of course, is Pokemon Yellow. That one doesn't run, doesn't get recognized. Oh, Donkey Kong, yeah. This is the complete edition. It's the one that was released, what was it, on the Wii, I believe, where they added the Pie Factory back into the game. Of course, again, through the ROM swap, I'm able to still play that game. But I was buying up a bunch of these different kind of cartridges because I was hoping that they would work, and you know, I was thinking, well, I don't see why they wouldn't. But again, the things that I've run into with the issues, just with the NES alone, when it comes to the ROM swap method to be able to play the ROMs on the Polymega, I'm not too surprised that my stack of NES games that I have over here, that they don't work. The Super Nintendo, again, that was hit or miss. But then again, with the TurboGrafx, those have not been a problem at all. And even Atlantean, the homebrew game, that one isn't recognized either. So it really, yeah, it must just come down to the actual hardware that's being used inside of these cartridges. Oh, really? Wow, Saru. Mine, I just got it from eBay. I don't remember exactly who it was. Well, again, my brother had purchased Crusaders of Senti, I think that's what it's called, from the same person. And that one, again, the Polymega didn't like either. I tried ripping that a couple of weeks ago, and it basically just said no. It didn't want to recognize it as a cartridge. So, you know, it might be hit or miss on some of those things. Actually, most of these NES cartridges that I got were from AliExpress. I think I got one of them from eBay. So yeah, no, they really don't like them. Um, there's what are the NES maker on the computer. I was thinking about purchasing that because I had some game ideas that I wanted to kind of mess around with. I used to love doing that back in the day. But they used to have a cartridge. I don't know if that one would work or not. I am interested to possibly purchase one of those and see if that would be recognized by the Polymega or not. My guess is if you put an official ROM on there, it probably still won't. But it would be nice to see. Dang, 127 Switch games now? I just pre-ordered 3 games today myself. What was it? The No More Heroes 1 and No More Heroes 2. And then the Doom collection, which has Doom 1, 2, and 3 on it. That'll be nice to get those. Most of the Switch games that I purchase nowadays, it seems like it's just the odd games like that. I am looking forward, though. I don't know if it's even out yet. I thought it was supposed to come out about now, but Mario Golf. Have any of you by chance picked Mario Golf up yet for the Switch? Again, I might have the date wrong. Oh man, that voice was awesome. It almost sounded as bad as Fighting Street. Huh. You know, this game, honestly, does not look as bad as I remembered it. I'm going to have to get the NES cartridge of this one and see what that looks like again. I did like the Master System version of this game. Probably one of the most. Oh, crud. Well, the rapid fire works nicely in this game. Oh, Retro Gamer backups. Yeah, I think I have them bookmarked. I completely forgot about them. Yeah, I was wanting to check them out. If I'm not mistaken, do they also do like Master System stuff? There was one seller that I found that does Master System games, and I was interested in trying them out. Yeah, I'm hoping that they start getting these things out the door very soon. I mean, realistically, yeah, we probably are looking to October, but it's really going to depend on a lot of the things that are going on overseas right now. And then, of course, they are running into chip issues. Just to let you guys know, Playmagi's not the only one that's dealing with that. What are those like the NES? I can't even remember the name of that company that does those, but I know they're running into problems with getting chips as well. Okay, they do, because and I'm guessing they probably have some of the high dollar ones that I really don't want to pay for, because I was talking about earlier in this video for Golden Axe Warrior. I used to own that game, and I'm wanting it again because I really want to play it, but the problem is I am not willing to pay the money that people are wanting for that game anymore. So doing a reproduction would be awesome. The other thing that I would actually like to see is there was a hack of Alex Kidd, Alex Kidd 2. There's actually 2 different people that made a hack of that game, but there's one specifically. I got it on my computer somewhere. But I would like to have a physical cartridge. They did a physical release of that game, but it was in very small numbers. But I'd like to get a hold of that and have one myself, if not just to play it on the actual Master System. But it would be nice someday that it would hopefully also work on the Polymega once they get that rolling. I actually do have a few Master System reproduction cartridges already. Most of them are actually the Game Gear hacks. Like, oh man, I'm getting wiped here. Dang, that sucked. The what was it, Triple Trouble? That stupid Tails game. But yeah, I have a few of them. So it'll be interesting to see if those will work once they get the Master System support. Game box and manual. Okay, very cool. Analog, thank you. Goodness, I don't know, man. My brain has not been working lately. Even people's names, it's kind of embarrassing at times. But well, it's even worse when it does come to people's names, when you can't remember somebody's name that you've known for a while. But Analog Systems. Evercade as well, really? That I didn't hear about that one. But Analog with the Analog Pocket, I know they've been having some issues with that. The Analog NES, I heard they had a stockpile of those that they started selling again. I think that was the other day. They probably don't have any more left. But man, when they're asking $500 for a console, that's not up my alley anymore. Yeah, the Polymega, that cost me quite a bit here, but it was nothing compared to buying just one console for $500. And yeah, it might be pretty neat, but I can't pay that much for an NES. But you know what, guys? I think I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here. But again, if you hit me up sometime, tell me some of the things that you're wanting to view when it comes to the Polymega. I know, some of you have already been mentioning that you want to see more streams and things like that, because that hunger that is out there for the Polymega. Even my last video that I did concerning the ROMs, there was a lot of people that were just throwing shade because they were tired of hearing about Polymega, because, well, they're upset that they don't have their consoles, and I understand that. I mean, I would be quite upset as well. I've just been fortunate enough to get in on the beta test, and no, it's not because I'm a YouTuber. As a matter of fact, I did very little YouTube stuff. They didn't even take that into account. One of the guys that I'm friends with, who also got a Polymega, he didn't even start doing YouTube videos until after getting a Polymega. So it's not just YouTube influencers that are getting these things, despite what people are wanting to say. That's not true. Question, that's not a bad idea. That's obviously something that I would have to schedule out to make sure that people are going to be able to attend it. But I think that sounds like a really good idea. Saru, I don't know if you're still there even. That might be a good idea for us. Maybe I'll send you a message after this if you're not online anymore. Trying to do another one of those. See, there goes my brain. Gosh, I seriously hate this. I don't know if it's old age getting to me or exactly what it is, but being able to do the polycast, that's what you called it. Doing up a team up on that polycast again, and trying to do that sort of thing, and have a live stream, kind of answers questions, that kind of thing. Obviously, throw some Polymega up on the screen while we do it. So that is a good question. Oh, for you, for sure, dude. I mean, that was a huge. I mean, your library is enormous. They didn't specifically tell me why they had chose me. I mean, I've got a ton of TurboGrafx stuff. Whatchamacallit, they're, gosh, yeah, maybe it's just that time of the night my brain is shutting down. But a lot of the consoles that I have, the Sega CD, Sega Genesis, that sort of thing, I have quite a few Nothing as much as some of the other people, but yeah, reach out and to work with Retro Games Backup. You know what? I'm gonna flag that so I don't forget, Daniel. I'm actually just gonna pop it up on a tab here real quick so I can look it up and see if I can find it. Retro. Oh yeah, and it shows that I've been there. So yeah, this must be the one that I have linked. Yep, sure is. Yeah, dude, I'll hit them up. I'll take a look at some of the stuff that they have and maybe do a couple of purchases and see what we can do as far as getting those running. Yeah, right. I don't think I believe that one, Pee-wee. But anyways, guys, thanks for dropping on by and you know, having this conversation. I absolutely love it. It's better than just kind of sitting here playing games. I like being able to interact with people while playing rather than just talking about whatever I feel like talking about. But thanks for dropping by, and you know, we'll catch you guys next time. And Saru, I guess I'll hit you up and send you a message. We can see if maybe we can get something nailed down for a specific time someday. But yeah, man, I will catch you all guys later, and until then, keep on gaming as usual. Take care.